Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. I'm really excited to be filming today because we are running a bunch of errands. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I need to stock up on going into 2024. Last year I sold a bunch of my framed pieces, so we're on the hunt for some framed pieces today. So we're going to be doing some thrift shopping, and we just went to the art store. I need a bunch of paper to make my watercolor sketchbooks and just to have at home. But unfortunately, this art store did not have paper. So I did get a few things from the store. This little bag of stuff was $50, which is kind of crazy, but all of this stuff goes a super long way. So I just thought I'd show you what I got. I have been spending a lot of time sketching and practicing drawing and stuff lately over these past couple of weeks. So I wanted to get a pencil with a little bit softer lead so I can do some shading. And I've been having trouble with it denting the paper with the lead that I'm using, so I wanted to get something a little bit softer. So I tried this out in the store and I hope that this is what I need. I know nothing about drawing pencils or anything, but I'm just kind of going with what I think will work, and we'll do a bit of trial and error on that one. And then with that, I got a really fine tip. What do you call these? Marker? It's a marker, right?
Yeah.
They're called fine liners, I think. A really fine tip fine liner so that I can do some details in my drawings. I've been having fun with going over my pencil sketches with fine liners, so I got a really small one. I do have a set at home that I showed you guys in a previous video that I got off Amazon, but I found that they weren't the best quality, especially when I draw on watercolor paper with them, because it's just sort of bending the tip. So I'm hoping that with a little bit better quality, this is kind of the one size that I'm reaching for all the time. This is a 0.1, that I can make this, you know, take care of it and make it last a little bit longer. And if it's better quality, that it will. So fingers crossed that this works for me. And then with my kind of experimenting these past couple weeks with paintings and stuff, I've been doing a lot of different, I guess, unusual sort of painting for me. I've been doing some loose watercolor, and I also have been doing like kind of experimenting with different brushes, just the ones that I never reached for at home. But I saw this brush, and I don't have one of these filbert brushes, so I thought I would get this and play around with it too, because at home I have different brushes in terms of the hair and the way the bristles. Some of them are hair because some of them are real, but I have different brushes in terms of the actual bristles, but I don't have any shapes like this. So I wanted to play around with some different shapes, so I got this. I've just been having fun at home, just painting whatever and just kind of playing around and seeing what happens. It's been really fun, but I got this guy, and then I got two paints. This indigo color, I usually purchase Winsor & Newton watercolor paints just because that's what I started on. I know it works for me. I know the paints last a really long time. I just have always stuck to Winsor & Newton, but I do have a couple watercolors that are the Daniel Smith brand, and I really like these too. I've had no problems with them. I ended up getting this burnt umber color in the Daniel Smith because for some reason, I bought two different tubes of Winsor & Newton. I thought the first one was just a dud because it was drying out super quickly, but then I got a second one and it was the same thing. It's drying out and I can't even push it out of the tube anymore because it's so dry, and the paint will actually fall right off my palette. Like, it just gets really dry and crusty and just falls right off. So I don't know if it's a color thing or if it's a brand thing, but I'm going to give the Daniel Smith burnt umber a try. So that's what I got. And now are we going to the other art store first? Yeah. And then we'll do some thrift shopping. I hope to find some frames. I'm kind of on the hunt for like just any sort of frame, and then I can paint art that kind of fits the frame afterwards. That's kind of, I don't really have any art that I need to frame right now, so I want to buy the frame first and let it inspire the artwork. So that's what we're after today. And then the only other things that I needed from the thrift store, I need a couple books for my studio just to add to my decor, and then some fabric for my watercolor sketchbook. So I'm gonna make a new watercolor sketchbook, and by I mean my husband. He always helps me make them. I don't know, I am more of a creative person. I'm not really a step-by-step follower. You know what I mean? If I have to do stuff in a certain order to make something happen, it doesn't really work for me. I'm more about just the creative process. So I don't know. It just intimidates me to make a sketchbook. I'm scared of poking myself with the needle. Yeah, so maybe I can learn one day. But my husband has made my other watercolor journals. So we're gonna get enough paper, hopefully, to make that. And I like to add some fabric to the front of the book just to give it a nice cover and to make sure it doesn't get wrecked. So I'll pick a new fabric from the thrift store today. So that's kind of what we're up to today. So let's get going to the second art store of the day. Good morning, my friends. I am just sitting down going through some of the stuff I got from the thrift store yesterday, which I'm actually very excited about. I normally go to this one thrift store for all of my frames, but it was closed yesterday, so it forced us to go to a couple different thrift stores that I actually haven't been to before. I wouldn't say there are any really good thrift stores in terms of Value Villages and Goodwills, just because it's always kind of hit and miss depending on what comes through. You never know. That goes for most thrift stores actually, but I do have one thrift store in the city here that always has the frames that I need. It always has so many of the vintage brass frames. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know. I'm not asking any questions. I'm just gonna keep going there and grabbing them. I clear them out every once in a while, so that's really nice that I have somewhere that I know I can rely on for frames. But in terms of the other thrift stores, it really is hit and miss depending on what's coming through there. So I was actually really grateful yesterday to find some really amazing and unique frames that I haven't had before. But first, this is one that I have had before, but I was very excited to find this yesterday because this is one that I had framed my wildflower piece in before, and it looked really, really pretty. So I thought I could either reframe that or I could maybe create some new art for this. I really love the oval shape. It just adds to the artwork. So I was really happy to find this one. But one frame that we found yesterday, which is unlike anything I've ever seen before, and I've never had a frame like this before, so I'm very excited about it. It's this wood sort of antique looking frame. Normally with this style of frame, I see it in brass quite a bit, and I've never seen it in wood. And this wood is the perfect color. This would look amazing this way with a landscape painting in it. It would look really great this way with some neutral florals in it. So I have a lot of ideas for this one, but yeah, I don't know if I can actually sell it because I love it so much. I think it would look really nice on the gallery wall. I have a lot of other wood this color, or wood frames this color, so I think that would look really cute on the gallery wall, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I was very excited about this. And then another frame that I've never seen anything like it before. This one was a little bit expensive, honestly, for what it is, but when I find a frame that has brass and flowers in the design, I always have to grab it. So I was really excited about this, and I think it'll look really sweet with some florals in it, or I don't know, you could do a lot with this, but I picture like some florals in here and I think it would look really cute. So I picked that guy up. I am looking for more small frames when I go back out. I'll go to the thrift store that I normally go to. But yesterday was a good day for my 8x10 frames. I ended up finding this one, which I've actually had before. It's like this 3 set of frames, and it just has the brass frame that I normally have for all of my art. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll know what I'm talking about, but these are the frames that I typically find, whether it be 1, 2, or 3 connected like this. The brass is pretty standard on the outside, and I really like these just to have a whole bunch of them, and they're really like compact and stuff like that too. So I really like these for markets. It's really easy to bring them along, whereas some of these other frames end up getting kind of like bulky and hard to transport, but I really wanted some like new interesting frames, so I'm really excited about what I found yesterday. Okay, and then as you guys saw, we ended up making the sketchbook last night, which I was really happy about. I was happy that we found the watercolor paper at the second art store. I've been finding it hard to find watercolor paper lately, actually. The 2 brands that I normally use, they've been sold out, so I was very happy that we found the paper because I've been out for a while and I've just been painting on actually like a really old sketchbook that I have that is not 100% cotton paper, and wow, it makes a big difference. So I was very happy with that, and I found the fabric and we got the sketchbook made last night. So this year I wanted to have a fresh sketchbook going into 2024 because I do have other sketchbooks that we've made in the past. This one I've made actually quite a long time ago, and it is just full of like my paintings that are more of like trial and error and tutorials and stuff like that. And then in this second smaller sketchbook, I have a whole bunch of like trials of different colors and different designs and stuff like that. Lots of stuff that didn't turn out and that I'm like happy that I tried. But yeah, I have lots of these like little random color swatches and like different styles of painting in here just to try things out. I do have quite a bit in here that actually did turn out, which is always a fun surprise. Like this painting, we all know, is like one of my favorites, and it turned out, and I'm really happy about that. So that's fine. But the sketchbook as a whole isn't like a whole body of work that I'm really proud of and that I want to share, because a lot of it is just me trying things. And in this sketchbook, it's a lot of tutorials and stuff like that. So I wanted this new sketchbook to be just completely intentional and art that I would be proud of and happy to share with you guys. And I thought I could do a sketchbook tour at the end of the year. So I've always wanted to share my sketchbook. I watch sketchbook tours all the time on YouTube. So I thought it would be fun to have a sketchbook full of my own art, because like say some of these are tutorials, and then there are like swatches and random stuff like that. So this is going to be my intentional 2024 sketchbook. I hope to fill this whole thing out this year. I'm not sure how many pages are in here, but I want to get the whole thing filled out and be able to share that at the end of the year. That actually brings me to my goals that I have for this year, which one of them is painting more and just being more creative in my painting. And I've been doing like a lot of reflecting on where my focus needs to be this year, not so much in terms of business, because I know what I need to do for my business in order to like continue the way I want to go, but in terms of the actual passion side of it and the things that bring me joy, like the reasons that I started doing this to begin with, I wanted to just make sure that I'm prioritizing those things. So I thought it would be fun to share with you guys my intentions for 2024. I really like watching these types of videos and hearing what other people have goals of and stuff like that. It's really inspiring for me. If you don't want to listen to it, just fast forward through this part of the video, but I thought I would share it with you guys. So my number one goal is to spend more time outside. And I know that sounds like it doesn't really relate to my business, but it does for me, because I find that being outside and being connected with nature really does inspire me in the studio. It's just something that I think is an obvious one, but I don't do it enough. Where I live, it's cold a lot of the year, but honestly, I've been enjoying really cold walks lately and just like feeling fresh when you come back in, clearing your mind and all that sort of thing. So I really want to prioritize spending more time outside this year. And then also a second goal I have, which is kind of a can of worms goal. So this is to find my own unique style. And this may sound weird because I do already kind of have a style, but I think I've been influenced a little bit too much by social media and sort of hopping on trends. And I look back on that work and I'm like, you know, it doesn't feel like it was me. So I really want to just stick to the things that I actually find beautiful and not stuff that I know everybody else is like trending on or what everybody else is making and that sort of thing. So I just really want to stay true to my genuine self instead of hopping on trends. So I will be paying more attention to what really draws me in because I love it and focusing on that. So that's my second intention for the year. And then my third one is practicing drawing and creativity more often. So that kind of goes hand in hand with this watercolor journal and making sure that I'm filling it out and really staying consistent with like the practice side, you know, less pressure around the painting itself and just having fun with it, trying new things and being creative. So that's my third goal. And then my fourth one, which I think is an obvious one, everyone's gonna have this one, I'm sure, it's to reduce TV and social media consumption. So I'm not really one who sits there and scrolls and spends a bunch of time on social media anyways, but I do find I end up filling gaps of time with TV or TikTok or something like that. So I just wanna leave room for things that I say that I never have time for. If I have 20 minutes before I have to shower and get ready to go somewhere, I think I would rather spend that time doing a sketch or reading a book or something like that, slowing down a little bit and feeling like I'm connecting more with my inner self rather than just, you know, consuming external stuff, if that makes sense. So I really want to try to pay attention to those moments that I can fill with more productive things. And then the last one is be more consistent with sharing my artwork. So I think I'm good at posting on Instagram. I do that quite often. The photos aren't really a big deal, but in terms of sharing my work itself on YouTube and Instagram Reels, I've really been lacking on the Instagram Reels lately. I really enjoy that process and I enjoy sharing my artwork on social media and I really love connecting with people over my art. So I just want to spend more time prioritizing sharing the actual process of my art. That is my last goal. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm really excited for this year. I feel like it's going to be a good one. I'm really going to focus on prioritizing the things I know that bring me joy and that I really want to do, the things I want to do. Just making sure I'm making time for that. So those are my intentions. If you have any intentions for this year that you want to share, please comment them down below. I'd love to hear them. But yeah, I think I'm going to try out my sketchbook, or not my sketchbook, my pencil and my fine liner now in my drawing book. So I think I'll play around with that. I need to rip the paper and get it into sheets that are ready to get working on because I have a lot of new ideas for this year and I'm really excited. So I'm just gonna spend today in the studio and just pick away at some stuff and I'll see you guys in my next video.